Hey everyone, if you liked that last vlog, here's a continuation of it. So here's that landslide cliff I was showing. I'm not going to walk close to it, but I'm going to go up above it. I want to look at this section of the woods. I want to circle around on that mountain. I still have an hour before it gets dark. Just want to look back down at the campground from a higher vantage point. This is the deepest part of the river. We went swimming in it today. We had to clean off, but the water is much cleaner up here until it gets to this. This is slowly sliding. Got some on camera slipping and moving. Let's see if any of it's still moving. Yesterday was a cloudy, dreary day. You can tell today it's been drying out a little bit. Trying to see if any of it's moving. I intend on crossing this, so I don't have the boots on. Came back with shorts, took the pants off, still got the bear spray, just in case. The park rangers say the bears aren't likely to mess with people. It's very rare when a grizzly will just come up to a person and bother them, they say. This I'm pretty sure is where I was filming. Bits falling, but it may have stopped crumbling just from it baking in the sun. You see all these crooked trees. This has been digging for a while. It's been a while in the making, slowly sliding. Then it stops. Like, look how fresh that looks. Some of this might even look different from this morning. But right here is an old partial beaver dam. Got washed out by a storm. And those are the wolf tracks right there. Much bigger than coyote tracks. Those are wolf tracks. And a bunch of these are my tracks from earlier. We actually had breakfast here on this beach. It was a nice, relaxing spot. This part of the hill, you see, it slipped. All the trees are gone. It slipped, and they're long gone. But that grass grew back. It's a year or two worth of grass growing back up there, so it's been stable for a couple years. It'll probably start moving again after a big storm. But I didn't realize this beautiful area up here until I just walked over there. I don't know how I overlooked that nice grassy platform. That'd be a nice spot to pitch a tent. This is where I was showing the cracks in the ground. Not as unstable as it looked from above. It's actually not hollow underneath. I'm not gonna stand right next to the edge or camp right next to the edge, but 10, 20 feet back, I'd be pretty safe. Now that we got Crocs, we're going across. This water is so chilly, it made my lower legs turn reddish this morning. This water is very, very cold. Super duper cold river. And this is much, much deeper. This would have been better to lay down in and take a bath. I had to get down in there and I had to roll to wet myself. It was a shock getting in at first, but once you're in, you're good. I got out, sudsed up, jumped right back in. Second time, I was already cold, but when I was splashing it up consistently on my head to wash out some shampoo, felt like it gave me a brain freeze. This water is very cold, even though we're in the month of August. Last night got down to the lower 40s, or about 5 degrees Celsius. Daytime high today was only in the upper 60s, or about 18 Celsius. This just looks like such a straight channel, but I don't think this was human made. Oh my gosh, that is cool. Look at this tree here. What do you call those things? Can't think of the name on the top of my head. I'm gonna have to wash my feet later. Look at this. Look at that dust from the fire. That's pretty cool. Can't think of the name, but I know people love cutting those out. They go for a good amount of money. People put them on a lathe and they make bowls out of them. Look at this, some of them even fell off. Oh my gosh, that's so cool. Never seen one in a forest fire. To be honest with you, I don't see those too often on an evergreen. I see moose tracks in here. This area is gonna look pretty nice again once the seedlings start growing in. There's no signal out here. I know my way back pretty well. I just want to walk up over this and see if there's cracks like from the ground slipping. I'm just very curious. We're not going to get close to the edge, but this is moss. This is moss that was so dry. Well, it's dry now. This must have been wet when it was burning because it would have been completely gone. But now the crunch, this feels amazing. It's like walking on dirty carpet or crusty old carpet in an abandoned house. It's pretty cool. Can't wait to see this area when there's little seedlings growing back. This far north, the evergreens are gonna take it over nicely at some point. Right here looks like a trail the animal's been taking. But it's so nice seeing a burn area growing back. It only singed the bottom. The mature trees in some of the areas survived the sweeping fire on the forest floor, but these small trees couldn't survive it. But they have pine cones up in them. Even these smaller ones have pine cones. A tree this small producing seeds. These trees are older than they look. When we were camping, we cut down a dead one, and tiny diameter, it was over 50 years old. The growing season up here is shorter. It doesn't get very warm, it's harsh, things grow slow. Be amazed how old some of these things can be. Okay, we're up here on top of the landslide now. This is the more stable part of it that started regrowing. Beautiful, I had to take a picture. You also listen to some of these trees and you can hear squeaking coming from the inside. It's the Sawyer beetle larvae chewing the inside. Sawyer beetles only attack dead and dying trees. They hollow them out, then they fall over. There's so many little seedlings mixed in here. I don't see any of the evergreens, the fir trees, but they just dropped their cones. It's gonna be a little while before we start seeing awesome regrowth. This is nice. In the distance you can hear maybe traffic. It's the Alaska Highway. It's the only road anywhere near here. This area is so remote. From here you'd have to drive a full day to get to a Walmart or something. And we're heading north. There's only one more further north until we get to Alaska. One location in Yukon. Look at this, this is slipping. Look at that, that's a recent slip. I don't want to find out that's like quicksand, but I'm curious about it. You can also see, look how thin the layer of soil is. The layer of good soil. It's so thin. This is going to be very squishy like mud. Or is it? It's solid. It's pretty solid actually. But it looks like it just slid. Areas like this are very susceptible to drought because they have such a thin layer of good soil. I love seeing this. A lot of people say my climate's cold, but it's interesting to see a climate that's even colder. This is a pretty mucky area. Oop. Come on out of there. Wow. It's a sticky area. We're going to stay away from the active slide area. We're going to pass well above that. This would be an amazing place to look at after a heavy rain. I just know it would be on the move. And that mud, that is really, really slippery inside my shoe, against my foot. Look at these big cracks. This whole piece at some point is gonna slide. All right, I wanna get back down to that river. Wash this super slipperiness out of me. Up here, some of these trees were getting to an area. Good amount of them are still alive. They survived. Look at this moss. Look how far I'm crushing down into it. Fascinating. Look at this. All these pieces are gonna, look at this, it's slipping. Everything here's slipping. Eventually, even where I'm standing, it's gonna go. There's even smaller, less noticeable slips all the way up here. We actually hiked up pretty far in only 10 minutes. I started this video when I was down there on the beach. Look at this. Look at all this slippage. Cracking through here. Oh wow, this moss is really, really slippery. I mean crunchy. Look at this, there's a big crack going up through here. Be careful where I walk. Oh. There's more cracks going all the way up through there. Oh my gosh, there's a crack all the way up there. One more spring thaw, one more big storm. We're going down. This whole area is going down. And there's moose tracks up here. Now we're into the alive moss. This is what it looked like before the fire came through. Yeah, this area doesn't look like it got hit. It got spared. Just went around this little spot. Fortunately, this spot might collapse eventually because it's so close to that. Okay, this wasn't a break. This is just patchy, dead. That's why it's sunk. There's no more life left in it. Starting to get dark. I'm gonna head back to camp. But I like that we made it up here. This higher vantage point. Yeah, I don't see any cracks. Right here, this is a slip. But it hasn't moved in a while. There's grass growing in the slip. There are so many rock slides in British Columbia. You're driving down the highway, you see gravel, sand trickling down the hill towards the road. There's so many barricades, you find rocks all over the road, and it's summer. We haven't been here during any heavy rain, haven't been here during the spring thaw. In good weather, you're seeing this stuff everywhere happening. Everything's moving. Okay, making our way back down. This is still a slipping area. There's a larger slip that just let go. You can't go here. I can't walk down there. It's gone. I don't know if it would be like that mud that I touched up there. Pretty solid. I could probably walk down it. I'm not gonna walk there. This feels so soft against my ankles. This living area. Ooh, there's even, yeah, this is very moist. A lot of mud down there. Let's see what we got here. I'm not gonna walk on this, because even on a sunny day it's trickling. Who knows how far I could somehow sink and get trapped in that. Just wanted the upper vantage point view. Kind of wanted to go all the way to the top of this burnt hill, but I won't make it back before dark. Ooh, here's another big slip, and that's a super recent one. Look at the roots pretty much holding us together. I couldn't even notice that the landslide was over on this side. I don't want to go for a ride. Yeah, this is very, very fresh. All these parts of it here. So I guess we are, after all, forced to walk a little further up the hill. Yes, we are. It's nice that this part's living. It gives you a little shot of what everything else looked like a year ago before these horrible fires. Like, look at this. Over here near the park, it's, well, you can't see with the overexposure, but it's very, very nice. Look at that. Nothing's burnt from this angle. Here's more slippage. Carefully walking around it. Oh boy, how far am I gonna have to walk to get around this? This is not slippage. This is just an area where when it rains hard, water's moving through here. Not the best footwear for the hike, but it's okay. Okay, this area is a bit wet again. How far up this mountain am I gonna have to go to get around this? Is it gonna get to the point where I have to just totally turn it around? I don't think so. This area I can tell is a wet area. I'm not sure if it's, yeah, this definitely slid, but it's been a while. Grass growing on it. Okay, let's make our way down closer to the water. Whoa! Oh my gosh! It's the first frog. It's a leopard frog. That's the first frog I've seen in BC. I was just mentioning that an hour ago. I have not seen a frog the whole time here. There we go. First frog. See, these are all areas that look like they slipped, but it has stopped moving for a while to allow all this stuff to grow here. Now we're coming down on the other side of this landslide, mudslide, kind of both. Okay, looks like we have a clear shot down. There's another good angle of it. Probably could have ran down that, but I'm not gonna chance that slipping. That's very, very active. You can see the wet spots where it's still actively moving even on a sunny day. Okay, get down here. Awesome. Look at the clover. Gotta bend down and smell one for a minute. It's nice. Oh wow, those smell so good. I was driving yesterday and maybe it was this clover. It kind of smells similar. It smelled like literal candy. Something so fruity, but I know it was coming from the flowers that I was driving past. It just smelled so good. These clover here smell better than the ones at my house. They have a little bit, they look a little pinker to them. And yeah, I know there's bigger clover species that are big and pink. I think there's even one back in there. There's a different species, if you see it. Not talking about those ones. They don't smell very good, but these ones actually smell fruity, really nice. Okay, we're making it back down. We're gonna clean the feet off. And I don't want to fall on that. Look at that. Sharp stump chewed by a beaver. Pretty recent. There's a lot of pretty recent beaver stuff. In fact, most of these sticks right here are beaver chewed. We made it back down. Maybe we can explore a little on this side. Yeah, here's the big clovers. These smell more like lilac. Don't get me wrong, they smell good, but these ones smell fruity. I like it better. Okay, here's a little foot bath. Okay, get that slippery mud out of there. Some of these little trickles of water are even colder than the river because they're coming directly out of the ground. Okay, let's walk across. And we just made a lap. Took 20 minutes to safely make a lap around that decent size landslide. I'm not sure if you can tell, the water's a bit cleaner upstream, at least in my opinion. It's got to be a bit cleaner because I can see the areas where it looks like coffee right against it. Okay, we're getting all clean now. It's refreshing after going up that hill. It's gonna be another chilly night. Hey, that actually looks like a moose track in the stone. It's not, but it looks like it. It's all covered in clover here. This looks so nice. These rocks are a little bit slippery, but the cold water feels good. This river reminds me a lot of the rivers near my house. Except in New England, northern New England anyways, you'd have a mix of much larger rocks that are actually good to sit on, along with the bunch. There's not too many big rocks in this area. We're making our way back. I'm gonna follow the river back. Every campsite has its own trail to river access, except one of them is randomly on the other side. It's a nice place. Most of the provincial parks that we tried to go to near the population of people, southern BC, they're so packed. And you'll ask them, you know anywhere that might have availability, they'll send you on a wild goose chase. One day we went to 4 provincial campgrounds. Every single one was booked full. After that we were like, no more, we're going to private ones from now on. Every private one we went to, owners were friendly. It cost a little bit more, some of them. We went to one that was really nice in the prairies. It was the same price actually. It was very nice. No one even goes to it because it's so far out of the way. But this provincial campground is also super far out of the way. Only a small fraction of the sites are even full. And it's tourist season. I like that. I like having isolation. It's so peaceful up here. A lot of nights we just pull over on the side of the road. A lot of Canada in the rural areas, away from the population at least, because the population's gonna dump things and ruin these places a lot of times if it's near a city. But out here, I'd say every 20 minutes, every half an hour, sometimes even more frequent than that, you're gonna find a side of the road pull-in, trash cans. Sometimes it'll have a outhouse. The ones that are closer to cities, it'll say no parking. It'll say no overnight parking. The ones in the middle of nowhere either say nothing or it says no parking in the winter because they need it to turn around snowplows. What is this buried in the hill? But yeah, Some nights we just simply pull over in these pull-ins on the side of the road. They have an outhouse, they have bear-proof trash cans, we just stay there. It's nice. We'll leave the vehicle there sometimes for a day at a time. Go venturing off into the deep wilderness in areas where there's gaps sometimes. You'll have a warning saying, check your fuel, because you're not gonna have fuel for hours and hours. We'll just park somewhere in the middle of nothing land. Or go down a logging road in the middle of nothing land. Canada is so much more remote than Maine. Maine, I even bring extra fuel when I go out into the middle of nowhere. This is nothing. Just to put it into perspective, Canada has 10% the population of the United States. On top of that, the land mass is so much bigger. On top of that, 90% of them live in a tiny little area, mostly southern Ontario. So say 90% of them are there. It is so remote, some of these areas. Can't wait until we get into the Northern Territories and Yukon. Northern Territory, they don't have a single Walmart. It's just tiny little shops. Yukon only has one Walmart. So we better make sure we stock up on whatever we might need before we get super duper far out. But it's set up. If you stick to the main roads, you're always gonna find a gas station in time as long as you're fueling on time. But in case I ever mess up, I have a bunch of fuel cans with me. Okay, this was fun. We're almost back to camp. I'll end the video here, everyone. I'm gonna wash my hands and arms because I have some, it might have rubbed off, but yeah, I have been touching the charred trees for balance and just tightness. Some places I'll probably have to change my shirt. But thanks for watching, everyone, and have a fantastic day. Oh, there's a snail. Look at there's a snail. How many more snails are there that I'm just not seeing?